So before this game starts, I wanted to say that when I first saw this game's name is Sin. It's Sin with a Y instead of an N. It reminded me of this book series that I read as a kid. It's called Septimus Heap. It's a great book series, and the first book is called Magic, but with a Y instead of an I. And it's a great book series. I recommend checking it out if you guys want to, if you guys like fantasy books. And this reminded me of that, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. And this is by the same developer who's made the Art and Blood universe so far. I think that's what it's called. I'm sorry, I suck with names. But let's get started with Sin. 7 days ago, the Silver Treader rose from a classified hadopelagic trench in the Pacific Ocean. Painted on it was the blood of the three scientists that were cradled in the submarine. Their bodies were nowhere to be found. 6 days ago, the Caspian cell, armed with the blessings of science, disembarked into the trench. Interesting how it says armed with the blessings of science, because usually blessings is associated with religion, not science. Nice play on words there. 5 days ago, it emerged with a catch. 4 hours ago, everyone in the facility was reclaimed by the sea. Poseidon be angry. The hadopelagic zone is the deepest region of the ocean, tucked sweetly in the deep trenches, deeper than the darkness of the abyssal zone. Rapid scientific development have allowed marine biologists access to the most mysterious parts of the sea floor. Underwater facilities were quickly built in the mesopelagic zones around 200 to 1,000 meters into the depths. You are a marine biologist. Is that a giant octopus? Not octopus, what are they called? Kelp? Not kelp. Squid. Is that a giant squid? It looks like a giant squid. You're a marine biologist of the Embargo Deep facility, conducting research on deep-sea crustaceans. Your work has always been mundane. You collect samples and study them. You are nothing like the biologists with the death wish who plunge into the deeper waters. I get a feeling like I'm about to be. I wonder why. The ones who bring a gun not for krakens but for themselves. Each sample you receive is larger than the last. It makes sense. Deep-sea giganticism makes an organism more efficient. That is true. So, sip of tea first. But the deeper that you go, things are larger in the ocean, which is a fascinating little theory, and it's so intriguing and awesome. Because gravity isn't as because gravity works on all sides of the body in the water than on Earth, on the ground. So it's easier for things to become larger than they're supposed to be underwater than on the ground. So yeah, better metabolism, better gathering of food, greater nutrients once it falls to the seafloor. Large isopods are burned into the back of your skull already. The Silver Treader was going back into the fray to capture footage of large eels. Rumors circulated that they were eating the waste propelled by Emboro Deep. You remember seeing Meikawa, Barrow, and Lewis before their descent, and you cannot get the visions of their remains painted on the front of the submarine out of your head. It was like the smears of a wild animal, but you know it was done with intention. Wild animals can do things with intention too, Yeah. 3 ventured back in to find evidence of the dead, to capture what they had brought to them their demise. I'm sorry for my English. This reminds me of Apophis. Apophis was the name of the photographer lady. This reminds me of Limerence, the woman from Limerence. Their eyes. It was difficult to describe this creature at first. Humanoid in some aspects, but nonetheless alien. The higher-ups were unsure what to name it. The process usually takes long and is bureaucratic. It was relatively docile, but would become aggressive when any tests that were not purely observational were attempted. Multiple faculty were injured in attempts to take its blood. What conclusions were made were slim. It is a male of its species and shares characteristics with cutthroat eels. Something under its skin makes it bioluminescent. Those who captured it reported that it only began to glow when arriving at the facility. It does not communicate, but it seems to understand human language and the meaning behind words. Any attempt to make it communicate have been futile. It is ignoring the scientists. Its primary role is as a scavenger. Considering the death of 3 scientists of the Silver Treader, it may also be a predator. And it has not eaten since arrival. Oh, looks like I'm gonna be food, munchy munchy. It had to be contained to a tank meant for dozens of animals. So the fun thing about sea creatures, or even any creature, is that there is a certain amount of space that a creature needs, a volume of space in all directions. For a shark, it's like a huge tank. Even for a small shark, it is way more bigger than you think. So for a shark to feel safe and to be in a proper, like, encapsulated, like, tank, the tank needs to be like almost, it's either like 3 to 5 or 10 times something. I think it's like 10 times the time of the shark in all directions. So for a creature that is huge, the tank is gonna be huge, like this. Multiple numbers for its full length have been thrown around. 50 feet in length, 75 feet. I prefer the metric system. I prefer my meters or kilometers. Just even though I still use feet in D&D. It is large. That is all that matters. Most formal businesses surrounding the creature had to wait. Word got around to the outside world only through monthly supply runs. Everyone reveled in the discovery of a new species, that they were the only ones to know about it. The facility collectively named the creature Sin, after the scientific classification Cynophobranchidae, and perhaps it was a sin to bring it into Emboro Deep. You weren't quite sure what happened or how fast it did. A few hours ago, you had been given a hafted octopus that was the size of a preteen girl. These things shouldn't be down here. There were a few abnormalities, 4 too many tentacles, an extra set of eyes, mutations that were otherwise unnecessary. You heard a few rumbles far away. That was only natural in the Emboro Deep. Underwater earthquakes in large supply halls can often cause rumbles. It was not until someone burst into your room with blood rushing down their arms that you were alarmed. You didn't know who it was before they were dragged back into the darkness. That's concerning. Probably, I think, maybe, I don't know if... What was that? Wet slap. Ugh. You closed and barred the door, sitting in the confines of your workroom. Against the door, you heard the alarm bells and the screams. Wet, putrid sounds of sea creatures, flesh, and the tearing apart of human tendons. There were a few small implements used in vivisects of new specimen that you grabbed to fend for yourself. You knew in a real fight that they would do nothing. Having them nonetheless brought you peace. It is really funny how like these kind of like things like holding something can bring you peace. It's very similar to how holding like a cup of hot water or warm liquid can bring you calmness. You are given a cup of hot water and you're put and a aluminium blanket is put around you in like police situations, because that warmth, it doesn't actually warm you off physically, but it does make you feel warmer and at peace. Similar to if you're scared and you wear a blanket, like you go under the sheets, like that sheet will not do anything against the creature, but it makes you feel safe. So, and it's really fascinating how feelings have such a strong base in humans that it can make a situation change. Because if you're unconfident about something, but you know you can do it, everyone knows that you can do it, but if you feel unconfident, you might not be able to do it. But if you feel confident and you know you can do it, you will do it and you will be able to do it, which is a really fascinating thing. So feelings, even though you cannot quantize it currently at least, plays a really big role, and it's an amazing thing about all creatures that push it forward and gives it capability. And this is a random tangent that I went on, but yeah. You waited until it was quiet outside, save for the sounds of live wires. You opened the door. Oh no. For now, you could only walk through the carnage. It was hard to see through the flashing of red emergency lights and puffs of steam from broken pipes. I don't know about you, but I think I'm seeing blue instead of red. My eyes might be an issue. Parts of the ceiling have fallen, making the once familiar hallways difficult to navigate. Attention, all personnel must evacuate Emboro D facility as quickly and safely as possible. Proceed to an escape pod or submarine located in the emergency broadcast experiences static and ceases operation. Truth be told, you don't remember the safety procedures. You went over them once when you arrived and never again since. Always go through the safety procedures. This is why you always go through them, especially when you're thousands of or hundreds of feet underwater, because you know the pressure can kill you, so you must know the thing before the pressure gets to you. Your brain pressure and the water pressure, all sorts of pressures, yeah. You'll make your way the way you can. Under rubble, you always found bodies. So this, okay, first of all, I just want to say, I've said it again, and I will say it again. Or I've said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. The developer for these visual novels has such a way with words. Like, all of these sound like such good, deep, enthralling novels, as well as poetic at times. They're written so well. I love the way this developer writes. They write things so well. I aspire to be this kind of writer. I aspire to be them because they write so well, and this is so evocative. It brings so many feelings about. The music that they choose is also like most of the time, at least, it suits this. Like, this particular thing suits this a lot. I think I said that in other ones that it didn't suit or something like that, but this really suited this. And yeah, it's just, this is such a vibe, so enthralling, so griping and gripping. You don't know how you got here, but you feel it does not matter. But when you reach your door, left in pristine condition compared to the other wrecked ones, you can feel it. This room is blanketed with the dust of rubble from the shaking of the facility. Otherwise, it is left clean. Papers are still stacked nicely on their desks. The pipes rumble, but they do not burst. Hi. And towering above you is the creature in its containment. Its hand resting upon the glass, tail almost wagging when it sees you. This is the first time you've seen it. I just had a brainwave. I'm sorry I keep cutting this off in between, but I just had a great, awesome premise for a D&D campaign, and this would be it. You're like in an underwater facility of like this advanced mage research facility, and everything goes to hell and loose, and the only few remaining survivors are the players or the player characters, and they all meet while running into each other, and then stuff happens. That is so cool. I'm gonna pin that down for something or somewhere that I can use at some point. That would be so cool. This is the first time you've seen it in person. You've seen sketches that looked like they were drawn by children as supplemental material. Its eyes follow you as you move across the room and in front of its tank, but its head does not. You stand in front of Sin, who looked down at you with what human would read as glee in its face. You're the cause of this, aren't you? It moves closer to you, meet your eyes. Perhaps I did. Its voice rings in your ears, but it does not open its mouth. Oh my god, hey, how you doing? I do not know your language, but I know your thoughts. You're scared. I'm sure communicating through your mind does not help. I'll have to apologize, but I know you will not forgive me. It is in your complicated nature. You swallow and hold your head in your hands. Blood pulses through your eardrums and you feel dizzy. You don't have a lot of time to leave this place, human. Everyone else is dead. All that scampers through the corners of your facility are the very beings you captured. Consider it their version of, what is it? Revenge? You swear you see a glisten in its deep eyes. I do not feel a single other soul of your kind with blood that still sings so sweetly. Unfortunately, as much as I was able to rouse the desires of the other creatures of this vessel, to turn them against the evildoers who forced them from their homes, they're all too blinded in their rage to release me. They are animals after all. They cannot operate the mechanisms. However, you can. I am willing to enter a contract with you, similar to the one you signed when arriving here. Confidential, binding, eternal. There are a set of buttons over by the pipes to my right, your left. Press the red and blue one at the same time, and you will override the system. The pressure will become too much and the glass will break. Should you do this for me, I will make sure you make it to land unscathed. You will not tell a soul what happened here. Should you even let an ounce of it leave your body, the weight of the sea will fall once again on your body, and you will be returned to me. You look to the buttons, and your gaze returns to Sin. Why did you kill them? Are you referring to the 3 who ventured into my territory in hopes of stealing those in my community for your study, your experiments? It was a warning to abandon your site and return from whence you came. How is it what you did any different from what you have done here? Oh, hey. Oh, sorry, it's not behind you. Okay, cool. There's a photo you're showing me. I'm defending my home, just as you all have before. You are stealing my children from me. If you release them back to us, they return with permanent wounds, disfigured beyond recognition. How repulsive. You feel vomit building up in the back of your throat. And what any other creature would do in my position and power would do. I brought... what is it called? Hell upon your species. Just in this instance, I could call upon my distant brothers and sisters to overtake everything you have ever built. We could make it happen, and we could make it swift. To feel the rush that comes from the taste of sweet blood. Sin's voice without an opening mouth is making you uncomfortable. You are not meant to be this far down. When this vessel collapses, you and every body will collapse alongside it. You will not last even a fraction of a second under the pressure of the water. If you manage to survive for longer than that, then the fear of the darkness will swallow you whole. If you refuse this deal, you will never find your way back. Look at yourself. You're tired. You're about to spill your innards onto the floor. As if on command, you hunch over and vomit all over yourself. It's a mixture of food, water, and viscera. As such, I will leave unscathed in every scenario. This vessel will collapse on itself and this glass will break, erode, whatever nature decides. I will be hungry, but I will be free. In every scenario, I will return home. The same cannot be said for you. I am practically giving you a gift, even though I should allow a squid to choke you to death in its grasp. I will not bother killing you myself. You cover your mouth and wipe the excess of your vomit from your lips. Take my offer, for your sake. Okay, I'm gonna say, oh my god. Wait, is that the Titanic? I will say yes because it is a good deal, but also in any case of this ever happening, anyone who gives you a deal is doing it for a reason, right? Like unless it's like a dystopian or world or like some sort of story where God is bored or something like that, or like this very strong creature is bored and then is doing it for fun. In a lot of cases, these kind of deals happen when the other creature wants something as well. So even though this creature is probably saying that, hey, I'm going to be free either way, it's still probably afraid of not being free. So, yeah, I'll do the deal. Yes, I will. It does not move its mouth, but it is smiling. So much smiling right happening now. Wise. As I have stated before, if you look towards the pipes, you will see 2 buttons. The damage to your vessel has already overwhelmed these systems. Hold the red and blue ones at the same time for up to 7 seconds. Okay, I can do that. You listen to its instructions, holding the buttons for as long as you hold your breath. You can hold your breath for 7 seconds. That seems a little less. It seems a little bit low. Isn't the average like 25 seconds? For a human at least. You hear the creaking of the Emboro deep from the room. It's suffocating. The glass starts to break, and then it shatters completely. The room immediately fills with tens of thousands of gallons of water. You are swept up in the rush, taken completely into the sea. I hope for your sake that we never have to meet again.
Is that teasing towards a sequel?
You aren't sure how you got here. Washed up upon the beach of an unknown country. Risen from the Hadal zone 9,000 meters down, relatively unscathed. 9,000 meters is about what, 4,000 feet ish, or is it double 18,000 feet? I don't know. It's one of the two. You spit the. I can never. I can't remember if I have to divide by 2 or multiply by 2 to approximate feet. Because I think pounds is multiplied by 2, something like that, maybe. Oh no, pounds is divided by 2, isn't it? Oh, I can't remember. You spit the remaining seawater and sand out of your mouth, and of course you vomit once more. You do what you know, and you do what you can. You make your way inland as far as you can and hide yourself within a community. If you are found by anyone associated with Emboro Deep, you know you will be forced to tell them of what happened. One way or another. One way or another. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you know you will be carried back out to sea. Those glowing eyes are in every dream, after all. You know what would have been creepy? To have those glowing eyes there this whole time, you know? Alright, I'm going to play again. And I'm going to this time do the other thingamabiggity big option. That's right. Okay. I will do this. Load and open that. Yee-yi-yo. Will you free sin, guardian of the abyss? No. I will refuse. I do not need the help of a murderer or of an alien with a bloodlust to find my way. Technically, this is not an alien because I'm still on Earth. So, an alien is a creature that has come from outside of Earth. So, to find my way home. You hear an echoing hum in the room of unsatisfaction. I see. Selfish to your core even now. If that is the case, then we have no reason to continue this dialogue. Oh, you feel a weight being lifted from your mind.
Things are breaking already. Wow, look at that.
You rub your temples and your eyes as if you were once again a small child. For a few more minutes, you stare at Sin. It only stares back. Your communication has been severed. Finally, you swallow and continue your way through Emboro Deep. Eventually, as you walk cautiously through the carnage, you find a submarine. It is the same make and model as a Silver Treader. You've never driven a submarine before, but the escaped subs have special mappings to take you safely to land. All you need to do is flick the emergency switch and go on your way. Now, you wait. Allow the submarine to safely disembark and take you to shore. You're tired and you allow yourself a quick respite. A short nap is all you need. And I'm never gonna wake up. Oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. The August 15th shipment comes to a crumpled facility. There is nothing to recover. All files are lost to the sea. Their paper drained of all ink. The bodies have been washed away. At least that is what is left of them. The supply team makes a conclusion that an explosion of an unknown source caused the collapse of the Emboro Deep. Any submarines not taken have sunk to the seafloor, and there are no known survivors. Not even me, little old me. 7 days ago, the Silver Treader rose from a classified hadopelagic trench in the Pacific Ocean. Painted on it was the blood of the 3 scientists that were cradled. It's gonna keep on looping. Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Ooh, very, very interesting. Like I said, I really this is the end of the video, but I really, really enjoy this narration, this writing. It's really evocative. It's really, really enthralling and encapsulating of the emotions. I keep slamming my watch into my table. Stop it myself. Do not do that. But yeah, it's really wonderful writing, and I really enjoyed it. And this one, of course, had a couple of spelling errors, and also some sentences could be changed to make it better. But it still had that wonderful writing and descriptive a description of emotions and the vibe, and yeah, this is just done well. I enjoy this a lot. But just like with every single one of these, I feel like more could be done with this. And I feel like it's part of the writing as well to like want more. And that's a wonderful thing because you want more, and you can make what you want with what you have in your own mind. So it kind of involves the reader, or, you know, me or you, everyone who's watching. So that's really, really cool. But I still wish there was more, you know? But aside from that, thank you everyone so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. And goodbye.